just looks amazing. What style of food is it generally?
My style of food is modern French with a British twist.
Well, it's almost criminal that I had to rush that so much, but this is a challenge.
Yeah.
It's been an absolutely amazing dessert. I am blown away by it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Kate now has to complete the final part of the challenge, which is to get back to Box Hill before Annabelle.
I drive in two different ways, really. In the city, I tend to be quite a courteous driver. I think it's important, and it annoys me when you're driving around in the city that people just don't let you out, they push in, and they create more traffic problems just by not being courteous to other drivers. I'm quite a confident driver. I've done quite a lot of go-kart racing. I once had a day event go-kart racing with a whole load of guys, and they were all sort of very male bravado about it, and I actually came fourth out of the whole event, and I think a lot of the guys were quite embarrassed to be beaten by a girlie.
Bray Marina. Oh, Riverside Brasserie. There it is. Gosh, that was quick. Fantastic.
When Annabelle finally got to the Riverside Brasserie, she had no idea that Kate had already finished her dessert.
Hello.
There.
Hi, Annabelle. Nice to meet you. How are you? Hi, Jamie.
Welcome to the brasserie.
I have been a woman on a mission today. I've eaten starter in one restaurant, main course in another, and I'm hoping that you've done a panna cotta pudding.
We have.
And I think it's got something like chilli and jam.
It has. It's a bit of a surprise.
It really does have chilli in it.
It does. It just gives it a slight warmth.
So, so what other sort of food do you do here?
Well, we do it. It's sort of. I would say it's a European, modern European menu. It's mostly a French influence, but we do have some Italian influence kind of running through it. And everything's done with a little twist. We like to sort of surprise the customer rather than, everything living up to what they expect.
Where's
Let me
my
get this
pudding?
brought out for you.
I'm on a time schedule. I don't
run and
like
get one
losing
for you.
competitions, and I think I'm about to lose. Oh, look at that.
Here we have our
Fabulous.
panna cotta.
So I presume
Do dive in.
the red bits are the chilli.
Indeed, you just have the fresh chilli on top, and it's a set cream dessert. So you have the pulp from the coconut, which is just infused into the cream during a slight simmering. Then it's set with gelatine, and you have the pulp from the pulp and juice, which has been reduced from the pineapple, and then just fresh red chilli chopped into it.
My goodness me. So, right, ready for a
Dig
bit
in.
of kick. Chilli panna cotta. This is fantastic. Oh,
How does that grab you?
wonderful. That grabs me.
Excellent.
In fact, it's grabbed me so much I'm going to have some more. Got to try this. You have? Oh, that's wonderful. I so enjoyed that.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Really
I hope
lovely
that
to
you
meet
win.
you. Well, I hope so too. I don't like losing. Right, I'm on my way.
Superb.
My lovely setting here. I don't want to leave it. Right, bye-bye.
Lovely to meet you.
Really nice to
Drive
meet
safe.
you. I will. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay.
Your route is being calculated.
Where did I start? Box Hill? Box Hill, here we come. What an absolutely idyllic setting that Riverside Brasserie was. Oh, I could have just quite happily just sat back on that picnic rug and just enjoyed my rest of my pudding. Okay, we're doing quite well, and I have a feeling I might just be in front of Kate.
Could Annabelle beat Kate back to Box Hill? Sadly not. Kate was first back to the memorial after her marathon 3 courses across Kent.
Oh no! Look, she's already here. I've been beaten. I can't believe it. Shouldn't have taken so long over that dessert. Ah, what a shame. I'm going to go and find her now.
Hi! Come on, it's nearly supper time.
Well, I have to congratulate you. Well done. I didn't think anybody could eat faster than me.
I think I even had a double helping of my dessert as well, I have to say. I've never eaten so much chocolate in my life.
But have you had a good time?
It was brilliant. How about you?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean,
How
what
was
a
the lamb?
wonderful day. Oh, the lamb was absolutely delicious. Sort of really melt in your mouth lamb. And I'm a real lamb, foodie, I think. I think it's my favourite meat, actually. But the pudding at the brasserie was out of this world. Coconut panna cotta, a bit of jam. Oh, delicious. I'm absolutely full.
And you didn't speed. I didn't speed either.
No, you've done well.
I speed 8. but I didn't speed in
but
any
also
other
to
way.
come all the way from Kent. My goodness.
I know. It was, but it was a very, very nice clear road, no traffic, so we did well. Very. Me and Mrs. Satnav.
I'd be quite happy to have another challenge like that.
Yes. Shall we? Or how about
Anytime.
a supper challenge right now? What? Not up for it? Surely.
No, enough of the food.
Well done.
Well done.
Sailing from the age of 6, Sarah Webb won gold for Britain in the Athens Olympics. She was one of the 3 blondes in a boat, who along with Shirley Robertson and Sarah Ayton won the Yingling class event. Currently training for the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, today Sarah is trying out a potential new team member.
After the Games in Athens, Sarah decided she wanted to actually helm a boat. So we couldn't carry on sailing as a team that we were, the 3 of us. So we decided we were really keen to carry on to the Games. And as a result, we needed to find a 3rd person to sail with. So what we're doing at the moment is actually trialling sort of people to come and sail at the front of the boat with us. We've got a couple on our shortlist, and today is all about taking out Sophie to see if she enjoys it, to see how good she is, and to see if we work well together. And we kind of feel that between Sarah and I, we know all the skills that she needs sort of sailing-wise, and we can teach all of those, but it's more about sort of her attitude and the way she gels with us and really works together. We have to live with each other for the next 3 years, in and out of each other's pockets. So as long as we can get on, that's kind of the most important ingredient for us. The qualities we're looking for are mainly attitude, to be honest. You really have to want to win an Olympic gold medal, because your life is pretty much geared around that. There isn't really nothing else you have time for. So you have to be entirely driven by that and willing to give up everything else. You have to be willing to give the extra mile every single day of your life. So we're kind of looking for that sort of person, and someone who's got a bit about them, a bit of sort of go get them attitude, and willing to never give up. The boat that I sail is called the Yingling, and that's actually, although the largest boat in the Olympic fleet, it's actually also the slowest, which makes the racing the most interesting. Tactically, it's very much like chess on water, and we're constantly trying to sort of position the boats in the right place so that we're always on each other's wind, or we're tactically going to be in the right place if we come in and tack. So mentally, it's actually really, really tough, and it's probably the toughest there is sort of the Olympic boats. So when we do come in the evening, we are absolutely shattered. The 3 blondes in the boat tag, I think, came from the media during the Games, and that's actually worked pretty well for us, to be quite honest. Although, having said that, before that we did have a fundraising ball where we called the ball sort of Blonde Ambition, and the name of our boat was actually Legally Blonde. So we kind of had that theme for a couple of years, but it works quite well. Obviously, you need a bit of natural ability to be a good sailor, but you actually need the sort of personal drive and the real commitment to wanting to be the best at your sport all the time. never gave up. Everything was always trying to be bettered every single day, and we spent hours and hours just trying to get a little bit faster, and that's kind of the mentality you really need. You know, it's the same in any sport, to be quite honest. You just need to have the right attitude and really the will to win. I think winning an Olympic gold medal absolutely, definitely changes your life. Your outlook on everything you do slightly changes, and people's perceptions of you change dramatically. But all in a good way. You know, I've been able to do a whole load of things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, and it's just a fantastic thing to have achieved, and nobody can take it away. I'm definitely still hoping to be competing in 2012. I mean, it's 7 years from now, and age is not really a problem in the boat we sail, so there's no reason why I can't still be sort of, racing and winning. Obviously, with 3 years to go to 2008, it's just like a 7-year campaign we're doing now, so bring it on. The sailing will actually take place here in Weymouth in 2012, and that's just fantastic for us. It's just a brilliant venue, and they've obviously just built this new facility for a sort of a sailing academy. So for us personally, it's just going to be brilliant. And sailing in your hometown, it's just going to be awesome. I absolutely can't wait. Our biggest rivals are probably the Americans. There would be about 4 of them who would be top 10 potential. The Ukrainian, who was actually the bronze medalist at the Games, is pretty good, and she's fairly useful. She's still doing it with the same crew. You'd probably have one from Australia, one from New Zealand, one from most of the European countries as pretty strong, and the latest force are the Russians, and they are really sort of attacking en masse. There's 3 or 4 of them that are really very good, and they'll be the people we're trying to beat next.
Like it. She's just dropped. We're not going to say anything then.
It's killing me.
Okay, well, we're 10 lifted here at the moment. We're 164. So, I'll sort of say to you that I'm dropping so that you don't need to, if you're not looking that way, that you know that then once I'm dropped, that's kind of my maximum weight, so then it's kind of all back on you.
I'm not from a sailing family. We had some next door neighbours who were boys who were a little bit older, and they'd just started sailing. My parents decided I needed a hobby. I went to the local sort of horse area and didn't like horses at all, decided it really wasn't for me, so I gave it a go and went with the boys to the local sailing club, and I've been sailing ever since. It was something I just loved from day one, every weekend as a sort of 6-year-old. When I was about 10, I started racing, and that was fantastic, but I didn't realise I could do it as a career at that age. I remember watching Sally Gunnell in '92 in Barcelona and watching her gold medal and thinking that was a fantastic achievement and a real inspiration to me. But it wasn't until '96 when I watched Ben Ainsley come home with his silver medal and actually got to touch the medal that I thought, this is what I want. This is for me. I'm going to do everything I can to achieve that. So after '96, I became a full-time sailor. I'm a 2012 ambassador, and that basically involved me sort of raising the profile of the bid for the 6 months, sort of when we got back from the Games and a little bit later and until the 6th of July. And that was a fantastic experience. I got to go and speak to a lot of people and go to schools and just generally sort of bang the drum about how fantastic it would be to have the Olympics in London. I don't think anyone realises how fantastic having the Games in your home country is. And Australia was just awesome. I mean, the Australians were just fantastic at hosting and being volunteers and really getting involved, and I think personally that we would actually do it a whole lot better. The British are just sports mad, and it will just be an awesome experience. So being an ambassador was really just about telling people what going to the Olympics is like and just trying to get the enthusiasm sort of for the Olympics raised. On the 6th of July, I was lucky enough to be in Trafalgar Square on the stage, and it was just such a nerve-wracking experience. I mean, it was like competing, but kind of weird and different, because obviously there was nothing we could do about the result. And we were waiting for Jack Rogger to say Paris, to be quite honest. We were sort of all whispering to each other, what are we going to do? The whole world's watching us. And then, of course, he sort of said London, and we all sort of jumped in the air, and it was just the most amazing thing. The obvious step for most Olympic athletes is to try and follow a career in the media after their Olympic exploits. So I'm working towards being in the media in sort of 2013, I suppose. And as a result, I've done a bit with the BBC and currently have a job with Southern Counties Radio. which is quite exciting, so doing diary pieces and general interviews. But I've also done quite a lot of TV work with London Tonight, which is the ITV news channel, and that's been a fantastic experience. I've been able to do my own pieces and go out with reporters and just generally understand how the business works, so that's great. And as my role as an Olympic 2012 ambassador, I've had to do quite a lot of live TV stuff with them and just generally sort of seen what the media is all about, so it's quite a good experience and something I'm enjoying quite a lot right now. Golf is a great sport. It's one of those frustrating things that you just really want to get better and better at. Unfortunately, because we're sailing all the time, I don't really have a lot of time for it. We probably played one time in the year of the games, which was a really amusing game out in Cyprus with the whole sailing team, the whole Olympic sailing team. And we'd been go-karting the night before, so when we were in our buggies in this course in Cyprus, we weren't actually driving them like they were go-karts. And we were lucky not to get thrown off the course, but it was a fantastic course with sort of cliffs and mountains and just a really exciting game. So that kind of got me inspired. When we came home, we were lucky enough to play at Wentworth, the three of us, and that was just awesome. I mean, we were rubbish, but it was really good. Sarah did a massive divot and took the grass home and has a little bit of Wentworth growing at home, so that's quite cool. And so ever since the games, I've actually tried to play a bit of golf because I just really enjoy it. My dad plays, and so I play with him quite a lot. And I enjoy going to the driving range when I get time. It's unfortunately, 18 holes takes quite a while, but if I can go out and play 9 holes in the evening after a day sailing, it's just perfect. This golf course is absolutely fantastic. It's in an ideal location, ideal for me, right over the sea, so you get a little gentle sea breeze, so it's not hot, not too hot. It's a fantastic day today, really sunny, and it's just brilliant. This hole that we're sitting on here is just awesome. You can see everything, you can see the sea, you can see the sand, you can see the seagulls sort of flying past and the rabbits sort of, on the tee, and it's just downhill, it's just wicked. I'm not sure that golf is likely to take place at sailing because my skill level isn't really quite up there. I guess if I had a lot of time, I'd obviously get a bit better. I'd like it to take place of sailing in the terms of if I was a professional golfer, I'd be making a fortune right now rather than rubbing my pennies together. But I think it's something I'll grow to do as I get older and do with my kids like my dad does with me, so hopefully it'll be something I can do for a long time. Look at that. The sea is just a fantastic thing. I love being able to sail. Sitting here listening to the waves rolling along the sand is just such a calming experience. But you mustn't be fooled by it either, because it's just such a forceful thing. You'd never take the sea for granted. It can be so dangerous. It can change just like that. It's an amazing thing, and we're really lucky to be able to spend time out in the water.
Goodwood combines the glamour of a great English country house with the warmth of a family home. Owned and lived in by the Earl and Countess of March. This unique house provides a stunning venue for one of the country's most significant private art collections and is also the setting for glorious Goodwood. Arguably the most beautiful racecourse in Britain. It's Ladies' Day, and some of the country's most recognisable and glamorous racegoers arrive in style, with a little help from Audi. After a champagne reception, the guests enjoy a sumptuous lunch, and there's also a chance to get a few expert tips for the afternoon's racing. Time for the short journey from Goodwood House to an equally beautiful setting. Goodwood has retained a quintessential British charm since the course was first laid out in 1801. It makes its own fashion statement, and this is no more evident than on Ladies' Day.
There's some beautiful beasts down there, and a lot of frilly dresses as well.
The second race of the day is the 5-furlong Audi Stakes. Number 3, Fire Up the Band, wins in a close finish. We catch up with some of the guests to find out how their luck's been.
Have I won? I have won absolutely nothing.
I won on the first race, won £24, and now sadly have lost every single race, and I'm £9 down.
I haven't lost much, but I haven't won much either.
It's a winner. It's not a winner. It's not quite a winner. It's a thirder.
I started off really well, and I was going on form, I was going on past performance. Now I'm going on colour.
So, some lucky, some not so lucky. But at glorious Goodwood, a great day out is always a dead cert.
Tradition is the cradle of progress. In the early years of motor racing, public enthusiasm favoured chivalrous, unbridled motorsport, featuring enormous cars. Then, too, those with the sign of the 4 rings were among the best in the world. Audi's racing tradition is closely linked to the great drivers of the 1930s. Names like Rosemeyer, Müller, Pietsch, Nuvolari. And Stuck, a name which links Audi with modern times.
Ja, ich hatte ja vor kurzem Gelegenheit auf der Avus das Originalauto meines Vaters zu fahren, den 16-Zylinder. Und ich muss sagen, erstmal in das Auto einzusteigen und zu wissen, da ist der Papa drin gesessen vor vielen Jahrzehnten, war ein recht ergreifendes Gefühl. Da kann ich ehrlich sagen, habe ich mir sicher eine Träne nicht verdrücken müssen. Ich war eigentlich überrascht von einigen diesen Dingen an diesen Autos. Das Getriebe entsprach absolut der heutigen Zeit. Eine perfekte Schaltung. Ganz anders natürlich die Sitzposition, die Sitzhaltung, die Ausrüstung, die Stoßdämpfer, auch natürlich die Straßenlage. Das war ja abenteuerlich. Ich kann mir heute kaum vorstellen, wie es diese Athleten, muss man sagen, geschafft haben, früher am Nürburgring allein 500 Kilometer zu fahren. Und wie man gerade auf den Bildern auch gesehen hat, schön, hat man ja beim Auto-Union dann bei den Bergrennen, um die große Kraft auf den Boden zu bringen, jeweils auf jeder Seite hinten 2 Räder montiert. Das hat der Vater damals erfunden. Damals hat er nichts gewusst vom Quattro-Antrieb. Heute haben wir natürlich etwas viel Besseres. Wir haben den Quattro-Antrieb, der natürlich aufgrund dieses Problems resultiert. Wie bringe ich die Kraft auf den Boden, wie verteile ich sie? Und man hat dann bei Audi weitergemacht, um diesen Quattro-Antrieb entsprechend zu forcieren, zu entwickeln, hat man das härteste und schnellste Prüffeld der Welt, nämlich die Rallye, hergenommen. Da haben wir das entwickelt, oder hat Audi das entwickelt, was heute der Quattro-Antrieb darstellt, nämlich ein perfektes, sicheres Antriebssystem.
The first and most important showplaces were the wonderful, winding, tricky, cruel, endless rally courses. The arrival of the Quattro, with its fresh vision, remarkable technology, and a rate of forward progress that everybody understood, revived the whole sport and triggered off a worldwide rally boom. The Quattro made its rally debut at the 1981 January Rally in Austria. It was driven by Wittmann and Nestinger, whose privilege it was to celebrate the Quattro's first victory. The Quattro was immediately entered for the World Championship, the first round of which was the Monte Carlo Rally, a daunting challenge to any newcomer. Our first star is Hanno Mikkola from Finland. On the 26th of January 1981, he became a topic of general amazement.
We did the first stage quite near Grenoble, short one, 14 Ks, but all the way uphill nearly. And I remember Darnis started in front of me, 1 minute in front of me, and when I had done 7 Ks, I passed him like anything, you know. It was a sort of very tight bend, and then maybe half a kilometer straight, and you know, I passed him maybe 100 kilometers different in the speed. When we came to the start of the next stage, Ari pulled next to me, and he said that with David Richards, who used to be his co-driver, they had a bet what was my time. Nobody really knew how well the car will go, and Dave Richards said that I did the same than the best time, and Ari said you were 10 seconds faster than best time. And I remember very well, I said, yes, you are quite right, but I was 1 minute, 10 seconds faster than next one. So that was a really shock for everybody.
The newcomer upset the entire competition. "We've been asleep for too long," said one team manager, "and now comes the rude awakening. It was time to get down to work." Despite the fine-sounding names of the other manufacturers and drivers, they had no chance against the new technology. The Quattro had turned the rally hierarchy upside down. When the service teams brought them to the rally circuits, the first production Quattros were quickly surrounded by admiring crowds. Autumn in Tuscany and a stopover in Siena during the most attractive event of the era, the Sanremo Rally. The event is in its third day and something unheard of is happening. A woman, Michèle Mouton, is ahead of the field in a World Championship rally and hasn't the slightest intention of giving up her lead. The event reaches its climax in a tense finale between the ladies and the great Ari Vatanen. But Michèle Mouton, co-driver Fabrizia Pons, and the Audi Quattro remain safely ahead and enter the history books as the first women's team to win a World Championship rally. Quattro technology, this was a delightfully new interpretation of a great idea. Michelle may well have been the fastest woman ever to get behind the steering wheel of a car, but to defeat all the male competitors in a technical sport, now that was something out of the ordinary.
It's true that at that point, the fact to be a woman was a point particular where the fans wanted to come and see me more closer and everything, and touch me. I remember forever, of course, Portugal and Greece, for example, and even Ivory Coast.
The media had their problems with this young lady. What were they to call her? The gentle savage, the black tigress, the pretty volcano, or even the devil with the face of an angel? Whatever name they chose, it was great to see how the men got all worked up. After all, driving had been one of the last remaining male bastions. Michel Mouton and Fabrizia Pons on the way to the South Pole, melting the ice of the men's world just where it is thickest. Rallying's new diversity, its changed surroundings and the popularity of its stars triggered off a worldwide boom in this sport at the beginning of the 1980s. It captivated the media and above all the spectators themselves, the people who were determined to witness it at first hand. All this fell on ground which couldn't have been more fertile, and the fans' enthusiasm caused them to go to amazing lengths to get close to their idols.
We cannot forget Portugal particularly. It was really even the limit to be able to do what we had to do, you know, and people on the road and people wanted to touch me when I was at the start of the stage. I remember forever one guy who opened the door to touch me when the guy was counting 3, 2, 1 just to go. I mean, it was difficult, but in another way, of course, I was trying to understand also that it was a normal way for them, and we have a chance to have a sport where the people can be so close to the driver. It's not like all the other sport where people are parked around. In the rallying, people are really part of the game. So if I have only one image, I think it's a positive picture, and a nice picture.
The heart of the rally enthusiast is a kind of Quattro too, turbocharged and driving for all it's worth. But despite all the overexcitement and the high level of popularity enjoyed by the sport and all its stars, there were no situations in which mass hysteria took over. People simply want to touch, or at least try to touch, the people they admire. Fans from Mediterranean countries in particular feel a strong emotional attachment to rally stars and to try to get directly involved. not as a half-hearted audience, but if possible as co-organisers. Hence their lively facial expressions and elegant movements. In 1982, the regular Audi team, consisting of Hanno Mikkola, Arne Hertz, Michel Mouton and Fabrizio Pons, was reinforced by Stig Blomqvist and Bjorn Cederberg. For some events, they were joined by the Italian Michel Cinotto and the Austrian Franz Wittmann, after which various outsiders came to some surprising conclusions.
Ich sehe in erster Linie, was mir Anfang des Jahres klar war, dass mein Gegner eine neue Technologie ist, ein neues Auto, ein vierradgetriebenes Auto, das den Weg in die Zukunft weist. Und gegen dieses Auto werde ich wahrscheinlich verlieren.
"1982 was the year of breakthrough, perhaps the most successful demonstration of technical progress by way of sporting achievement in automotive history. Audi easily won the manufacturer's title in the World Championship, although the competition certainly didn't give them any quarter. Towards the end of the year, when the points were added together to decide who the world champion driver was, the contest was still open. Two drivers were in the running: Walter Rühl in an Opel and Michel Mouton in an Audi. The Ivory Coast Rally, the last event of the year, was the decider. The Ivory Coast Rally is a small reminder of how rallying was born and what it stood for. Tests of reliability, driving from A to B across sparsely inhabited areas when what counts most is simply getting through. It was only later that sheer speed acquired increasing importance. African terrain still reminds us of the humble beginnings of rally driving. The big story of this rally was therefore Michel Mouton versus Walter Rühl, who at that time was in a competitor's team. We have to face the facts and admit that Michel failed to get the championship title as a result of the fickleness of material, a minor technical malfunction. As luck would have it, precisely the same thing happened to Hanno Mikkola and the Audi team manager, who had set off into the bush to help